Fairleigh Festival 2019. I'm very excited to introduce you to this fabulous group of humans for the Works in Process series, which is a group of excerpts of new works that are either new or in development. In this group, we're excited to present the fabulous Davalois, I'm gonna start over. Davalois, Jess. Davalois. I've known her for 2.5 years, so this is really embarrassing, and I'm a little bit nervous. Last name Fearon. Davalois Fearon. Melis Aker. Jacinta Clusellas. Tatiana Pandiani. Ashley Tata, featuring Hearne and Eliza Bagg, and the Vanderburgs. Yeah. Woo! Okay, there will be a brief transition between each of the performances, and we ask that you stay in here for the duration of them. And please stay afterwards for a brief and always fascinating moderated talk back with the artists. Oh, by the way, I'm Sanaz, and I helped co-curate this with David Bruin, so I can say from personal experience, knowing all of these artists, that they are just rock stars. Okay, let's do it.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the 30-minute concert version of Azul Otra Vez, a new bilingual musical. This is a story about forgiveness, specifically a story about forgiving your father, but it is also a story about the struggle of immigrant artists, of generational trauma, and most importantly, of healing through memory and imagination.
Act 1 is fully in Spanish and lives in the realm of magic realism, circa 1888. A musical world where everything is painted with watercolors and everything seems as it seems until it's not. This act is a collage of short stories and poetry by Nicaraguan poet Rubén Darío. Some of you may have heard of him.
And if not, there's always Google. We are about to meet an artist nicknamed El Pájaro Azul, the bluebird, a hungry and idealist poet who leaves his home and papa behind to journey towards a new world. But alas, his hopes of being a published poet are destroyed when he realizes that in new worlds, one must face not only the obstacles of an artist, but also those of an immigrant.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Right now we find ourselves in Bluebird's hometown, hanging out with his friends at Café Plombier, a local hotspot. Here we have Pepe, the cafe owner, Lolo, a local drunk, Lucia, a painter, Juan Pedro, a thinker, a fancy lady, a bald professor, a sleepy little girl. It's Sunday morning, business as usual.
Es el año 1888.
Otra vez, diario de un loco.
Amigos de almas perdidas, el cielo, ay amigos míos, el cielo está opaco, el aire frío, el día triste, pero un cuento alegre, así como para distraer nuestras brumosas y grises melancolías. Aquí viene.
Sí, aquí viene. Suenan las campanas de la niñez, pues es día de misa. Las flores amarillas llenan los floreros y el café humeante.
Pude dormir.
¿A que madrugar Dios lo ayuda?
Qué anticuado, Pepe.
Así soy.
No me gusta la gente anticuada. La madre y la abuela están de pie, pues es día de misa. El sueño de la niña, de tan pronto matinal, no puede dejar las blancas sábanas.
Llevar por este canto, se silba, se grita, se ensaya la voltereta, cansado el pecho, rojo el color, para que la realidad no se sufra tanto, para que la realidad no se sufra tanto, por este canto, se silba, se grita, se ensaya la voltereta, se ensaya la voltereta. asunto que en ramas cercanas los pájaros discuten políticas del aire, ciencia de las estrellas, aires de los globos. Sigue el asunto de la solterona.
¡El maestro Calvo!
Las piernas de Lucía de la estancia.
¡De música!
Los recuerdos de papá. El domingo, sol de oro. El domingo, sol de oro. Sale a lucir en el muro azul. Otra vez.
Sol de domingo, soy bueno para los viejos, para los viudos tristes y los niños pobres. Se propició para los solitarios, los melancólicos, a orilla de los lagos, junto a los cisnes. Sol de oro, ¡toma!
El domingo, sol de oro. 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 ¡Amigos!
Yep, this is him, El Pájaro Azul, the bluebird. Oh, I forgot to tell you, he thinks he has a bluebird stuck in his mind, hence the nickname. So he comes in holding a stack of newspapers, the local La Calavera. He spends a good 10 minutes forcing everyone to read a poem on page 13, desperate for their opinions. Now, after receiving not so pleasant feedback, a good scolding from the editor of La Calavera, not to mention a disapproving letter from his papa, El Pájaro Azul decides it is time to leave his friends, his girlfriend Mimi, and all he knows behind to voyage to the new world.
And off he goes, through the tedious tides of uncertainty. On the ship, immigrants sing to the stars for blessings. And a few months later, El Pájaro Azul, carrying no documentation, manages by a strike of pure luck to bypass a distracted immigration officer and steps foot onto this new land. He's looking for the employment office, but instead, he finds the beating heart of town. A marketplace bustling with vendors, fancy women, politicians, tango lovers, newspaper boys, and just a lot of chaos.
¡Últimas noticias desde el mundo entero! 5 centavos, noticias de la Roma, 5 centavos.
Vamos, vamos, tengo jazmines chinos, cepillos de nácar. Vendo un elixir de pelo, un tapado de chinchilla. Ay, quien no le gusta un tapado, vendo peines de nácar. Pero no se quedará jamás, vendo de todo un poco.
Café, 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 calientito y casero para usted, tortitas para mujeres lindas como ustedes. Muchacho, un café.
No tomo café.
Como señor, el café no hace mal, estos son todos inventos de estos nuevos bohemios naturalistas. Ok. ¿Me podré decir dónde queda la oficina de empleo? ¿Cómo voy a saber yo?
Se casó con Rodrigo. ¡Qué barbaridad!
¡Qué barbaridad! ¡Barbaridad! ¿De quién hablamos? ¿Quién se casa? ¿Susanita? ¡Ah, Susanita! ¿Con quién se casa? ¡Con un obrero extranjero!
Señora, ¿usted me podría decir dónde queda la oficina de empleo?
¿Quién te costó, mamá? Felicita Quintanilla del Halcón. ¿Y cómo se enteró Felicita Quintanilla del Halcón?
Le dio la panza. Uy, directa la Susanita.
¿Está embarazada?
Señora, ¿usted me podría decir dónde?
Mira, mamá, atrás llegan esos vestidos de París.
Y ahora les voy a cantar una canción desde el fondo
corazón. El farolito de la calle que nací fue el centinela de mis promesas de amor. Bajo su inquieta lucecita yo la vi, a mi pereta luminosa como un sol.
¡No será un pozo! ¡No será un pozo! ¡Abuelo, feliz ranchuela!
No te pongas las canicas en la boca, si te atragantas te morís. Oh, mamá.
¡Me las compró a mí! ¡Son mías!
¿Y qué? Esos juguetes de madera ahora son míos.
¿Cómo que le compró jazmines a Félix? Usted sabe con qué los fertilizan.
¿Por qué?
Con caca de gato.
Señores, hola, ayuda, por favor.
No podemos dejar de anunciar el resultado de un siglo de esfuerzos intelectuales, las luchas de los trabajadores, luchas de todo un siglo, y las clases dominantes están engañando a la clase obrera, nos quieren esclavizar para enriquecerse y mantener sus posiciones de poder y privilegio, pero el pueblo luchará por su libertad, no permitiremos ser esclavos de los poderosos.
Confíen en mí, soy un gran empresario.
No le crean ninguna palabra, pasoche.
Ok.
Todo volverá a la normalidad. Un gran país finalmente se los garantizo. Señores,
Y, señoras, el pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
expandir,
Jamás será vencido.
avanzar.
As heavy rain floods the street, El Pájaro Azul gets directed over to the employment office, where a cranky officer lectures that there's no work for artists now, that now is the time to do real work in the fields. Just as our protagonist is about to lose all hope, the officer's secretary tips him off about an artist job.
Yeah, apparently some rich patron nicknamed Rebe is looking for a resident artist. Who knows what that means? But alas, time passes, and at Rebe's mansion, El Pájaro Azul finds himself stuck doing a boring, menial job. Oh, by the way, the job is out by the King's Pond, turning the hand crank of a music box. Time goes by, the poet cranks and cranks and cranks that handle.
And on a freezing winter day, exhausted and depressed, El Pájaro Azul vents about this miserable life to a mysterious man. The man reveals himself to be Rebe, his boss, and unable to contain his pride, El Pájaro Azul decides it's time to quit and leave the mansion.
But oops, drama. His choice is inconveniently followed by another letter from his papa. And this letter explains that Nini, remember her, his long-lost girlfriend, has died at childbirth. And that he is the father of a baby girl, Margarita, named after that poem he paraded a few scenes ago. All right, so now the protagonist has to make a choice. He can go back home, or he can beg for his job back, eternally trapping himself. Now that said, it would also allow him to bring Margarita to the new world and possibly give his daughter a better future.
El Pájaro Azul desperately cranks the handle of the music box, seeking an answer, any answer.
el verso que está en el astro, en el fondo del cielo, y el que está en la perla, en lo profundo del océano. He nacido en el tiempo de la aurora, busco la raza escogida que debe inspirar la salida del gran sol. Juventud, divino tesoro, ya te vas para no volver. Cuando quiero llorar, no lloro, y a veces lloro sin querer. Juventud, divino tesoro, ya te vas para no volver. Cuando quiero llorar, no lloro, y a veces lloro sin querer. Juventud, divino tesoro, ya te vas para no volver. Cuando quiero llorar, no lloro. Y a veces lloro sin querer.
When Pandiani Azul freezes in place, he has become a sculpture of ice, forgotten. Normally there would be an intermission here, but we only have 30 minutes, so let's keep going.
Act 2, a big shift.
You might be surprised to hear that we are now in Jackson Heights, Queens. The year is 2001. We meet an 11-year-old girl named Margarita. Margarita obsessively reads her father's copy of Azul by Rubén Darío, which inspires her to compose music on her toy keyboard. Her father is a Nicaraguan immigrant and failed poet named Garcin, who works, you guessed it, a menial desk job at a newspaper. And yes, El Pájaro Azul has now become Garcin.
More scenes and more songs reveal to us that Margarita functions as a caretaker. Small detail, Garcin is depressed and an alcoholic, but she still manages to make music and stories in her tiny Jackson Heights bedroom. Oh, and Garcin is strict about English only. So that pretty much is Margarita's life until
She witnesses her father's attempted suicide. And a second time shift occurs. We flash forward to Rita, Margarita's 30-year-old self. The year is now 2020, and her father has been hospitalized due to decades of addiction.
Meanwhile, what we saw begin at that toy keyboard has become a professional career, and a rather successful one. But no accolade matters because Rita is stuck. What's the purpose? What's the meaning of her work?
And one day, eventually, Rita decides to see a therapist, and this therapist sends her on a search for a childhood memory that could possibly redeem her father. And at her keyboard, Rita begins to remember.
Ama tu ritmo. You know what that means?
No.
Ama is love. Tu is
Your.
exactly. And ritmo means
Rhythm?
eso. Let's look at the rest.
Ama tu ritmo y ritma tus acciones. Bajo su ley, así como sus versos. Eres un quizás pueda entender tu universo, sentir tus pasos en mi curso afín, seguir el ritmo de tus pensamientos y encontrarme en tus
Interrupted by Rita's phone. Garcin had a stroke. Rita rushes to the hospital and her father is fine. The only issue, the stroke caused Garcin to lose his second language. He's now only speaking his mother tongue, Spanish. Very weird. So doctors have instructed Garcin to paint watercolors to soothe his nerves.
Rita can't recognize her father. He's basking in his past, joyfully talking about old friends, about his hometown. She looks over at her father's artwork and notices that he has painted a colorful cafe. Sound familiar?
Now we have a request. We need you to suspend your disbelief with us. Ready? As the music swells, the hospital room begins transforming into Café Plombier. Yes, the one from the beginning of the show. The doctors, nurses, and patients become the colorful characters from that world. And it is Garcin's imagination and memory intertwined. Rita has no choice but to join them and places herself in Garcin's narrative for the first time. And at that moment, she understands. Coming to terms with her less than perfect father will heal her work, and more importantly, her own self.
And we finally understand that Rita is the author of that watercolor, shape-shifting, musical world where it all began. The end is the beginning, and the beginning is the end. We are back in Café Plombier, but maybe this time we can all see it better.
raíces
guys were fine, and then we were in the same drop.
We were sitting right there. How are you?
Yeah.
for the most incredible audience. We have one more incredible performance for you guys, and then we're probably going to end up cutting the Q&A and just ending with a bang. So I can't wait. Okay. So this is the Vanderburgs. Woo! Great. Come on in, guys. Yeah, through. We're good. Yeah, good.
You have been watching me for centuries, yet you cannot bear to look me in the eyes. What troubles you, monsieur?
The war is not over. It has simply come home. The king's new trade routes direct lucre to France's countryside, but lubricity to her cities. Foreigners are arriving in droves. They're bringing disease, Captain, a moral contagion. In 5 years' time, this city has become a putrid nest of pagans, bigamists, harlots, thieves. Drawn to the notion of some mythical vagabond king, they pervert our culture and threaten the very chastity of Notre Dame herself. Yes, they are a venal infection, but we must be the cure. I want these foreigners out of Paris. I want their lascivious tongues off of our language. I want their putrid fingers off of our currency. And I want their profane prayers out of our churches. And I want their bodies out of our streets.
Understood, sir.
Glad to see you're already getting results. Barely here a week, and already your patrol has intercepted a contraband wagon. That criminal's corpse makes a splendid ornament for the South Gate.
The smuggler's death was unintentional, sir. He ran and I had...
No need to abate your accomplishments. That battlefield brutality of yours is your most valuable asset. Show no mercy to these vermin.
Understood, sir.
Of course, we've seen to it that you are appropriately compensated. A prestigious new position, a bride of noble lineage. You've got it all, Captain.
I'm not unlucky, sir.
You and your intended will be seated with me in my box for the Feast of Fools this afternoon.
The Feast of Fools is a welcome change of pace. At least one day a year they see us as a curiosity. The rest of the time they see us as a blight.
An opportunity to observe the enemy up close.
Down!
The police! We were ambushed! The wall is crawling with border patrol.
Where is Lilac?
Lilac is driving the wagon. Everything is normal. But when we get to the checkpoint, they ask us for our papers. This says there's a new law and everyone has to show some kind of papers, pay some tariff. But of course, they aren't giving the French importers any trouble. Just waving them on while they line us up in front of a dozen soldiers. A rose knot, led by their captain, perching atop his teeth, like a smirking god.
What captain is this?
New. I've never seen him before. He definitely thinks he's hot shit though.
Easy.
Keep going. We don't have their fucking papers. We can't pay the fucking tariff. So they're gonna confiscate everything. One of them spooks our horses. We make a break for it, fly over the gate and tear down the road. Arrows leaping at our backs. They pierced Lilac through his neck. He didn't even cry out. He just fell. Dead. Do the other. I'm ready. I'll kill them! I'll kill them all! This is not a pledge of passion. I will avenge my brother. I saw their faces. The men who drew their arrows. The captain. They will die.
I thought this job was going to be a little more on the administrative side.
As if. The Archdeacon needs someone who can get their hands dirty. Like a stucco for his little genocide.
Who said anything about genocide?
Don't overthink it, Phoebus. Just focus on the perks. Pitching your family name to my family's estate, unlocking my dowry, thank you by the way for that, and getting out of the battle circuit before the king starts another eco war.
You know, you're a far cry from the blushing butt of a bride I was advertised.
We all must play our parts to secure our position.
Poems! Poems for sale! Get your unique works of literary genius!
Phoebus, let's get one!
Poetry's not really my thing.
Come on, expand your horizons. If we're gonna be together for the rest of our lives, I'm gonna need some artistic breath. Oh, poet!
Ah, mademoiselle! Your presence makes our humble fare far fairer.
This is my fiancé, Phoebus. He's a recent war hero.
G'day. Nice tights.
Indeed. We'll take a poem.
Of course. Romance, perhaps?
No, romance is so passé. Give us something grotesque and depressing.
Yes, and make it short.
Certainly. Let's see, the maiden in her bridal gown, the soldier with his stately frown, in nuptial nooses, forever knotted, at once beheaded and besotted. Upon this dreary and expensive day, lips turn blue and skies stay gray.
This festival's trash.
I feel you, Jolly, but a gig's a gig. Clopin and the others are counting on us to play our part.
We're playing for the same monsters who murdered Lilac. We went through hell, and you want to pretend it didn't happen? You want to bury our past?
I'm not burying our past, I'm just trying to live in the present.
We made a pact. When the violence catches up to us, we're supposed to keep moving.
And go where? I don't want to spend my whole life running from our problems, Jolly.
Then you'd better start facing them.
Well, I'm fantastic!
Just mind your own business, tramp.
You barged into my dressing room. I'd say it's my business.
Well, looky here, Ludo. This little hottie's protecting the hunchback. Oh, what a cute knife.
What did he do to deserve such abuse?
Okay, we got him sticking his whole entire face in the public fountain.
It'll have to be drained.
Contamination is real!
Everyone drinks from the public fountain.
Which is why we protect it from the filthy likes of him. And you.
We are not filthy.
I say you look plenty filthy to me.
Okay, come on, Henry. Let's go get some meat. It's making me thirsty.
You know, you're lucky it's Fool's Day. Next time we won't be such gentlemen.
Keep your freak on a leash, foreigner.
Hey, are you alright? Oh, come on, don't be shy. Can you hear me?
It's okay. We're on your side.
You don't have to hide your face from us.
You don't have to hide your face from us. There. Don't let those guys scare you. They're just ignorant.
Why aren't you afraid of me?
Why should we be? We all have to stick together.
You're the bell ringer from the cathedral, aren't you?
Yes. Please don't tell my master I'm here. He'd be furious.
Why?
I'm not allowed to leave the cathedral.
How come?
Atonement. My face, my body. I'm a monster.
No, I don't see anything you need to atone for. You're beautiful.
Me?
Yes, you. Right, Jolly?
You're definitely one of a kind, friend.
Friend? No, the bells are my only friends.
Not anymore. Now, if you'll excuse me, Monsieur Velman, I was just getting ready to go on stage.
Oh, sorry to intrude. Break a leg.
Go out there. Get a good view.
The guests glare like the gargoyles. The buglers honk a noxious dirge. Love protests and lust recoils as you two lonely souls doth merge.
Bravo!
Very modern.
Thanks, that'll be 3 gold.
Oh, send a bill to the castle treasury for 10 and I'll retain your services again. And my court.
Oh, at your leisure, milady. Captain.
Wasn't that provocative?
More like underwhelming. I don't see what everyone's so afraid of. These people are just beggars, bums, and artists. Don't seem like much of a threat to me.
Lovely lady, troubled man. I've been waiting. Care to have a glimpse into your future?
Pretty satisfied with my present, thanks.
You can deceive yourself, Captain, but not me. Let me see the story that's written upon your hand. Every palm has a song it longs to sing.
Another time.
Ah, what's the matter, troubled man? What's the threat?
Okay, then. Fine. Bring it on.
A severed lifeline. Death in your past. Death in your future. Surrounded by death. No murder. You killed a man today. Or was it yesterday?
What do you know of it?
I only know what your hands tell me. Butcher!
All right, that's enough. You know we can have you put to the fire for sorcery.
I don't learn.
People of Paris! It is my pleasure to introduce to you a true wonder. More mysterious than moonlight, brighter than the summer sun, this miracle of motion will enchant, she'll entrance you
Why, she might even save your soul. I give to you the evocative emerald of the streets, La Esmeralda.
Well, I guess they're not all hags and cripples. This one's quite beautiful, isn't she? You don't have to pretend with me, Phoebus. She is. Do you know there are alluring women like this all over Paris? Believe me, I've tried a few myself. If you like what you see here, feel free. Why make this any harder on ourselves than we have to? Just don't go getting caught.
Power of me. My thoughts are ill, contaminated with stillborn prayers and dark wishes that shock me. And God was never near me.
I can hear you. I can hear every thought and yearning.
You are invading me.
You are letting me in.
Vessel of Satan, I am with the Lord.
Then why can't you avert your eyes? My dance unravels histories. You surrender empires to me with every gaze.
Why do you do this to me?
What do I do to you? You chase me in the streets. You watch me from the shadows. I feel your gaze slip through my skirt. Your lips glisten and tremble. Is it a prayer? Do you pray to me? Why does your body thrum when you behold me?
I don't know.
What do I do to you? Do I remind you of something? Something pure and precious you lost along the way? Tell me! You can't answer. Do you know why? Because I do nothing to you. I do nothing to you, nothing for you, and nothing with you. All I do for me.
Stop this lewd exhibitionism at once! People of Paris, every move she makes seeks to lure you further from Jesus Christ. Do not be tempted by this witch!
Lighten up, monsieur. The crowd is just enjoying a good show.
Women like you should be kept beyond the city walls.
All I did was dance.
Your flesh poisons the mind of this simple, fragile public.
Exactly whose mind is my flesh poisoning? Yours? How fragile do you have to be if you can't control yourself at the sight of a woman's body?
Captain, arrest this girl.
Captain! Yes, sir. Allons, tout de suite. Esprit!
She's so stupid.
Let her go. She dances her way into trouble. She'll dance her way out of it.
I think we smoked them. What is it? Relax.
Son of a bitch. It's tortured.
Go back to the camp. Tell the others I'm going to bring his body down.
Under order of His Majesty Louis, you are under arrest. I said, under order of His Majesty.
I heard you the first time. Didn't the order come from the Archdeacon?
The Archdeacon is issuing orders on behalf of the king.
Sounds fake, but okay.
So, then you'll come with me now.
Why am I being arrested again? What law did I break?
You offended the Archdeacon.
Oh, well, he offended me. Arrest him.
Hey, What are you doing?
I'm reclaiming this body.
I can't let you do that.
I'm not asking your permission.
This body hangs to send a message to all foreign caravans that seek to invade Paris.
Lilac would not have wanted to be used in this way.
Who?
Lilac. Him? My friend?
Oh.
So you're the new captain?
Yes.
And you did this to him?
We caught him smuggling goods. Every caravan that comes through those gates needs to show valid paperwork and pay the king's tariff. Smuggling is a crime against the crown.
What was he smuggling? Did you check what was in that wagon?
Vegetables, potatoes, rotten cabbages.
Rotten cabbages. This for food you wouldn't feed your hogs? This for your crown? Oh, I thought it would be different in Paris, but even in the great capital, nothing but violence.
I was brought here to make it better, you know.
I can see the difference already.
Look, I'm sorry you have to see your friend this way, but it's my duty to uphold the law.
Spoil your duty! Your duty doesn't make Lilac any less dead, and your laws don't keep us any safer. You call us barbarians, but you, police, you're the ones who brutalize us. We are always on the run from the likes of you. For as long as I can remember, we moved from village to village, camping on the outskirts, never staying long. We stayed in one village for close to a year. It was a mistake. Your war still caught us there. Soldiers came, occupied the place, plotting an ambush for the enemy. You stole our crops, slaughtered our livestock. You made us your spies. Sent children into the forest to scout. Sent them alone and in the dead of night. Some of them never returned, and those that did were often maimed, missing fingers or eyes. You cut out my best friend's tongue and sent her back as a warning. At night, you would take turns coming into our tents. Our rape, a pastime. And after you toss us aside, we hear it happen again in the next tent over. We prayed for the opposition to come. Can you imagine praying for war? Finally, a swarm of soldiers trampling the field, leaving thousands of corpses in the blood-soaked earth. They burnt it all down. Anything left standing, anything that dared cling to its dignity, they made their duty to tear down. During the fire, Jolly and I escaped and have been together ever since.
In battle, men have no laws to bind them. That's why I'm glad, grateful to be in Paris, to uphold the laws here. I'm just as tired of bloodshed. I want to do what's right.
Men shouldn't need laws in order to do the right thing. If you want to do what's right, then do what's right. Your city, everyone in your city is relying on you.
Hold on.
Why are you helping me?
Because you're brave. It's the only bravery I've seen since arriving in Paris.
There isn't much of it here. Look at that. Calm seas.
When can I see you again?
What?
When can I see you again? For my next lesson.
It's not my job to teach you how to treat my people like people.
But I have a lot to learn. Meet me in the cathedral. Tomorrow after evening mass. All are welcome there.
So you're not going to arrest me?
I cut the rope. You haven't done anything wrong.
Thank you, everybody. This has been an incredible series of work in the process. I'm so thrilled by what we just saw. It was so cool. And tonight, 7 o'clock, which is in a minute, right at the Segal Theater, there's going to be a Publix Park presentation, First Assembly. It's a new initiative at the Segal that is looking at discourses in all 140 parks in New York City and active participation in our democracy. Just come join us as we try to figure it out. There's refreshments and snacks. So join us for the snacks, y'all. And then at 8 o'clock in here, we have the Foundry, and we are so excited about that. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you.